The summer night in Las Cruces, New Mexico, was as hot as if someone had placed an oven right under the pavement. Maya Carter stood at an old gas station on Valley Drive, her blue t-shirt clinging to her back with sweat, her hand gripping a crumpled $20 bill. She planned to fill half a tank for her weary sedan, just enough to take her mother to her medical checkup this week and make a few shifts at the diner. Maya's mind buzzed with numbers: her mother's medication, the overdue electric bill, next month's rent. She had nowhere left to turn. A harsh argument cut through her thoughts. At pump number 3, a tall man in a black leather jacket, helmet hanging from his handlebars, was pleading with the clerk. "I left my wallet at the shop. Just 1 gallon, I'll come back and pay." The clerk shook his head. "No payment? No gas." Maya caught the man's eyes, Cole Bear Lawson, and saw something that wasn't aggression, confusion, shame, a man cornered. She could walk away, but her father's words returned. "You've got to see the person inside, not just the clothes they wear." Maya took a breath, stepped forward, and placed the 20 on the counter. "Fill it for him." At sunset, Las Cruces looked like an old film reel. Red dust, molten sunlight on tin roofs, the hum of crickets behind cracked concrete walls. Maya, 29, worked 2 jobs: morning shifts at Mesilla Diner and evening shifts as a line cook on a taco truck. Her mother, Evelyn, after a minor stroke, needed regular medication and checkups. Since her father's death in a green chili farm accident in Hatch, every expense had rested on Maya's shoulders. She wasn't one to show emotion, but everyone who knew her did. Maya was the kind of person who handed the last slice of pie to someone else. Today was no different. She heard the biker's gravelly voice, but in that brief glance, she saw the weariness of a man both proud and humiliated, someone who didn't want charity, just a chance to keep his word. The clerk eyed the patch on his jacket, Desert Guardian's MC, and shrugged. "You sure, ma'am?" Maya nodded. The pump clicked, the sound of fuel rushing like rain on tin. The biker didn't blink as he watched her. His gray eyes were tired. "I'm Cole," he said. "Maya," she replied, smiling faintly. "I'll come back to pay you," Cole murmured, as if afraid to break something fragile. Maya shook her head. "Just think of it as your day getting a little easier." Cole's Harley roared to life, shaking the hot air. He paused a second, gave a slow nod, a silent promise, then rode off, leaving behind the scent of fuel and a strange lightness that filled the space in Maya's chest. That night, she recalculated her budget. The $20 she'd given away threw everything off balance, but it also made the cramped kitchen glow a little warmer. Evelyn didn't ask why her wallet was lighter. She just took Maya's hand and said, "You did the right thing." Maya smiled, her eyes stinging. In this border town, people survived by building fences, and she had just taken one down. The next morning, before the sun had burned off the mist, Maya was already on shift at Mesilla Diner. White porcelain mugs lined the counter, the espresso machine hissed, and the smell of bacon filled the air. Tomas, the cook, joked that if the city ran on coffee, Maya was the IV line. She smiled politely, but her mind was elsewhere: the folded electric bill in her apron pocket and her mother's doctor appointment on Thursday. At noon, she called the insurance company. The voice on the other end was flat and mechanical. "Your file is under review." Someone far away had put her life on hold without a heartbeat of empathy. She hung up, pressed her forehead to the stainless steel fridge, and took a breath. Her hands were used to carrying trays, but her heart was carrying an entire home. By afternoon, the temperature hit 102 deg. Maya went home before her night shift to check her mother's wheelchair and medication bag. Their dented house in old Picacho Hills looked like an aging friend. Peeling paint, leaky pipes, the sigh of things barely holding together. The repair money had long been traded for prescriptions she couldn't skip. As Maya was cooking rice and opening a can of beans, an unfamiliar sound rolled through the window. A deep drum beat, then a chorus. Motorcycle engines. Not one. Many. She stepped out to the porch. The dirt road before her shimmered with dust. More than 30 Harleys lined up, the red and white Desert Guardians patches bright against sun-baked leather. Her heart pounded. From inside, Evelyn called softly, "Who is it, honey?" The wooden door creaked open. Cole. Bear Lawson stood in the yard, taller than yesterday. His shadow stretched by the slanting sun. Behind him were men and women of all ages, some carrying tools, paintbrushes, wrenches, and brown paper bags with a local grocery logo. "May we come in?" Cole asked, not with the hesitance of a man short on cash, but with the quiet respect of someone entering another's home. Maya swallowed hard and nodded. Cole signaled, and the bikers shut off their engines. No one spoke loudly. They moved like a rescue team that had trained for this moment. A woman with braided hair, Rosa, stepped forward with groceries: eggs, milk, vegetables, chicken, and cornbread. A silver-mustached man, Hank, knelt at the porch, pressed a loose plank, then nodded to Miguel, a young man carrying a drill. June, a small-framed biker woman, raised her gloved hand. "Where's the leak, ma'am?" Maya froze, words tangled on her tongue. Cole's calm voice filled the space. "You helped me when no one else would. In our world, debts of kindness don't blow away with the wind. Please, let us return a little of it." Within 10 minutes, Maya's yard became a well-orchestrated work site. Rosa unpacked food into the kitchen, gently asking Evelyn about allergies. June slid under the sink, shut off the main valve, and replaced the cracked pipe. Hank and Miguel reinforced the porch steps, then swapped out a rotten plank. 2 younger bikers sanded and painted the chipped wall under the awning. An older couple placed a bouquet of wildflowers on the windowsill, as if asking the house's permission to be touched. Maya stood frozen. She wanted to say, "Stop, I can't accept this," but the words fell apart. Evelyn squeezed her daughter's hand, tears at her eyes. "Let them," she whispered. Cole walked the perimeter, his eyes sharp as a carpenter's. He tested the door hinges, asked about the doctor's appointment. When she said Thursday, he nodded and spoke into a radio, asking someone to bring a stool and a portable canopy. "So your mom won't sit in the sun waiting for the ride," he explained. No one mentioned money. No one took photos. If there was laughter, it was soft and warm, like a blanket. The people in leather, the ones neighbors might once have feared, worked with quiet skill. When the first coat of paint dried, the house seemed to wake from a long sleep. Maya brought out cold water for everyone. Cole took his glass from her hand, their rough fingers brushing. "Why, are you doing all this?" she asked, trembling. Cole looked her straight in the eye. "Because yesterday you saw me as a person. We're used to other kinds of looks. A stranger putting $20 down for a dangerous biker at a gas station. Doesn't happen every day." He took a sip, voice softening. "I've got a mother, too. I know what it feels like to want to hold the world up for someone you love." The afternoon light turned golden. They reattached the gutters, patched the roof, painted the main wall, and replaced the porch light so nights would be less dark. Rosa cooked chicken soup right there, the smell of celery and garlic filling the kitchen with a warmth it hadn't known in months. When everything was done, Cole pulled a brown envelope from his jacket and placed it in Maya's hand. She shook her head quickly, heart twisting from pride and fear. "I can't take this." Cole's voice was gentle but firm, folding her hand around it. "This isn't charity. It's a fund our club keeps, for medicine, for overdue bills. You believed in us before you knew our names. Let us believe in the good you believe in." Engines rumbled like a choir as the crew rode out. Neighbors peeked through curtains, suspicion turning to surprise, and, for some, to shy smiles. Cole fastened his helmet, then turned back. "If you ever need anything, call the Desert Guardians. We're at Coyote's Rest every Friday night." The road quieted. Maya stood on the porch, the envelope pressed to her chest, listening as the engines faded into distant thunder. The freshly painted wall glowed in the sunset, the steps no longer wobbled, and the kitchen pipe no longer leaked. Inside, the soup still simmered, and on the table sat eggs, milk, and greens, luxuries she hadn't seen in weeks. She opened the envelope. Inside was enough to breathe, not wealth, but enough to pay the bills, buy her mother's medicine, and keep a little cushion. A small note was tucked inside, scribbled in uneven handwriting. "No one rides alone." Beneath it was a phone number and the Desert Guardian's insignia. Maya sat on the porch steps and let herself cry, not from pity, but from being truly seen in a world too busy to notice. Evelyn joined her, a thin blanket over her knees, stroking her back. "See, honey," she whispered. "Goodness comes back. Not fast, not loud, but it comes back." The next day, Maya took her mother to the hospital. In the parking lot, she noticed a black Harley parked at a distance. A man in a baseball cap, without his club patch, nodded when their eyes met, then walked into the family ward, carrying a bouquet of wild daisies. Maya smiled. No words were needed. That Friday night, Maya stopped by Coyote's Rest with a box of homemade pastries. Rosa saw her first, waving like greeting an old friend. Cole stood up, awkwardly accepting the box as if it were a silver trophy. Maya simply said, "Thank you for seeing me as a person." Cole replied, "We just returned what you started." Word spread quietly through the neighborhood. Neighbors slowed when passing her house. Some stopped to chat. Some left eggs or apples on her porch. No one called the bikers scary anymore. They told another story now, about a $20 bill that turned into a home full of light. In everyday life, we build invisible warning signs. Danger, keep out. Don't judge a book by its cover. They're not like us. Those signs might keep us safe, but they also keep us from the miraculous. Maya took down one of those signs on a sweltering afternoon at a gas station, and the world returned it with a bridge. Kindness isn't magic that happens with a snap of the fingers. It begins with a small choice, sometimes a real sacrifice, $20 that could make a week harder. But precisely because it costs something, it has value. And when kindness travels the right path, it often finds its way back, through rough hands, paintbrushes, chicken soup, steady steps, and a note that says, "No one rides alone." We may not have Harleys, leather jackets, or club funds, but we can choose to look at someone with respect. Sometimes, that's enough to change an entire small town. If Maya and the Desert Guardian story touched your heart, share this video so someone else might dare to lower an invisible fence. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch new kindness stories 365 every day. Have you ever given or received a $20 bill moment in your life? Tell us in the comments below.